Support for Radio Friends comes from Columbia Healthy Smiles, the dental office of husband and wife team Dr. Batson and Dr. Abe, offering comprehensive and customized care to patients of all ages. Learn more by calling 573-721-9039 or online at www.columbiahealthysmiles.com. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Wednesday, April the 7th. Gary Wunder is with us today, and you may remember Gary. He's been on from time to time. He's National Federation of the Blind. And today we have a very interesting topic. How do blind people watch television? That's what you want to talk about, right, Gary?
Oh, why not? Why not?
Okay, so how do blind people watch television?
Well, it's kind of changed. When I was a kid, there was so much audio with the video track that I didn't have any trouble following television very much. For instance, the truth is when Gilligan's Island was on and somebody made a mistake, you knew it was Gilligan. When somebody got popped on the head, you knew that it was Gilligan and the skipper was giving him a hard time. When the Flintstones were on and you heard the ch-ch-ch-ch-ch, that's Fred running in the car, you know. When the Jetsons were on and Janie was yelling at George, you knew exactly what he had done wrong. In Gunsmoke, for example, if Matt Dillon pulled up to a guy he had been chasing on a horse and he said, "Get off the horse, I'm taking you into Dodge." If you heard leather on the saddle and you heard boots hit the ground, you know the guy was going into Dodge. Now, if there was a gunshot, then Matt had to kill him. If there were two gunshots, then you knew that the bandit was dead, but was Matt wounded, and would Doc Adams have to come take care of him? Yeah.
All of this was audio.
Yes.
And you never saw what any of these characters looked like, did you?
That's right. I loved Star Trek, but I could not have described to you the Starship Enterprise. I could have described to you its warp drive. I could have described its phasers, its photon torpedoes. I could have told you about all the intricacies of the characters that made it up. I never saw a MASH operation, but I knew Hawkeye and I knew Trapper and I knew Colonel Potter and Colonel Blake and all of those people.
So while you were listening to all of these television programs, you had the advantage that you could imagine in your own mind what everyone looked like and what all the settings looked like.
Yes.
You were imagining this. You didn't have to see what the rest of us were.
Exactly. Now, the difficulty is that if you and I were both Star Trek aficionados, you might ask me, how did you like such and such a title? I might not know that.
Oh, you don't know what the title is.
I don't know what the title is.
Yeah.
If you tell me it's where they fight the Romulans and it's the whole show, the show begins with a wedding and the show ends with the guy dying in the end who was supposed to get married, and the captain comes on and he says, you have to know there was a reason for all of this. You and I know the same show, but maybe you are the only one who knows the title.
All right, let me give you a title here and see if you can figure out what show it is. I can tell you're a Star Trek person, and so am I. The Trouble with Tribbles.
Well, yeah. Now.
You know that one, right?
You set me up with that one because there was no other show that I remember that had Tribbles and the Salesman or whatever.
But that was the title of that show, The Trouble with Tribbles.
Exactly.
And they took over the entire Starship Enterprise.
Exactly. And then they got beamed to the other ship. So the trouble is that television has changed from the highly dialogued, highly sound medium that it used to be, and now people are more and more taken with videos. So
and all the special effects.
All the special effects.
And you know, and I don't know, personally, I would prefer the dialogue where there was storytelling with words and people's interaction than all the special effects.
True, but you and I are dating ourselves a little bit because younger people say that was the slow part where he was explaining this or that or the other thing. You know, I remember hearing about Steven Spielberg and E.T., and I went to see E.T. in the movie theater, and the only thing I got out of it was E.T. phone home. That was the only thing I got out of it. But luckily, there is something called Descriptive Video Service that they're starting to put with many movies and television shows, and it makes all the difference in the world.
Well, it's almost like subtitles for the hearing impaired.
Exactly. So you have to be real careful not to speak over the main characters when they're saying something. Like, you don't want Rhett is speaking to Scarlett, and then you miss his line, frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. You know, you don't want that. But it can make all the difference in the world. Like, I watched a show without descriptive video. I think it was Fried Green Tomatoes. And in this show, a little boy gets killed by a train. Now, that's tragic, and I feel it. But when I watch that show with descriptive video, you see this little girl and her hat blows off, and it blows down on the train track. And so the boy bravely jumps down, wanting the admiration of the girl. And he starts to walk, and he hears a train off in the distance, and he's not really concerned. And his foot gets stuck in the railroad track, and mostly you can tell by the look on his face that he's not afraid. He's angry that it's messing up the impression the girl is going to have of him. And he tries to get his foot out from between the tracks, and it won't work. And then he tries to get his shoe out of the track, and his look goes from irritation to slight fright to he sees the train and he knows he's dead. Now, which of those two is the more moving for you? Both of them is that a boy gets killed by a train. But the second one gets me in the stomach.
Right. And that is descriptive audio.
That is descriptive. What they call it, descriptive video. It truly is descriptive audio. You're right about that. And there are a number of shows that are creating it now, or a number of networks. Netflix is very good about creating their material with this.
So it is
Disney.
It is like subtitles for the hearing impaired.
Yeah, you can turn it on or off.
So, can anyone access this, or do you have to sign up for it?
Mostly anybody with a newer TV can turn on subtitles. Now, I have to tell you that if you were watching this, you might not like it, because at some point when it says he opens the door and there's a man with a gun, you want to see him open the door,
right,
and the man with the gun. So you may tell me, you and I will watch it together, but you watch it with headphones so that you don't mess it up for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's great. So Netflix has it. Hulu has it. There are a lot of shows that don't yet have it, and people are working on trying to go back and figure out which of those to describe.
All right. You hear that music, Gary?
I know what that means.
You know what that means. Okay.
Yeah, I don't need descriptive for that.
That means we're out of time. But Gary Wunder, thank you so much for coming by. I really learned something today about descriptive audio for the blind watching television. If people want more information, how do they get in touch with you real quick?
874-1774.
Okay, National Federation for the Blind. Gary Wunder, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Come back again.